By the end of this, you'll be able to write and run your first Claude Code project. You'll learn how to set up your environment and create a simple project. Getting started with Claude Code is a great way to build custom applications that integrate with the Claude API, and it's a key part of working with a broader Anthropic ecosystem. Claude Code gives you the power to create custom workflows, automate tasks, and even build your own tools on top of the Claude platform. To get started, you'll need to have a basic understanding of coding concepts, but don't worry if you're new to Claude. We'll take it one step at a time. First, make sure you have a code editor installed, such as Visual Studio Code, and that you have the Claude Code extension installed. If you don't have it, you can download it from the VS Code Marketplace. With your environment set up, you're ready to create your first project. We'll walk through this process step by step, and by the end of this video, you'll have a solid foundation in Claude Code. Your first step is to open your code editor and create a new folder for your project. Let's get started with that right now. By the end of this, you'll be able to write and run your first Claude Code project. To get started, you need to install the Claude API. You'll use this API to interact with the Claude model, so it's a crucial step. First, open your terminal and run pip install Claude API. This will download and install the necessary packages. Once that's done, you'll need a code editor to write your code. I recommend using Visual Studio Code, or VS Code for short. If you don't already have it installed, head to the VS Code website and download the version for your operating system. With VS Code installed, open it and create a new folder for your project. Name it something like Claude Code Project. Inside this folder, create a new file called main.py. This is where you'll write your Claude code. Now, you need to install the Claude API extension for VS Code. Open the Extensions panel by clicking the icon on the left sidebar or pressing Ctrl+Shift+X. Search for Claude API and click Install. This extension will provide you with syntax highlighting, code completion, and other useful features for working with Claude Code. You've now set up your environment and are ready to start writing your first Claude Code project. Vocabulary, terminal, pipeline, extension, syntax. All right, you've got your environment set up. Congratulations. Now let's fire up Claude Code for real by creating our very first project. First things first, open up your terminal or command prompt and navigate to the directory where you want to start this project. For simplicity, we'll make a new folder called first_Claude_project. Sa, dear first_Claude_project. cd first_Claude_project. Next, let's create a new Python file with a descriptive name that makes sense. How about hello_Claude.py? Go on and type this command in your terminal. Sa, touch hello_Claude.py. Now open up your text editor or IDE of choice. I recommend VS Code for its robust features, but any will do. Open hello_Claude.py. The next step is to install the Claude library so we can start coding. In your terminal, run sa pip install Claude. Once that's installed, go back to your editor and add a few lines of code. I'll give you a quick template here. Python, from Claude import Claude. Modèle égale Claude. Print hello Claude. Save this file. Now let's run it. In your terminal, type sa python hello_Claude.py. You should see hello Claude. Print it out, and you've just made your first Claude Code project. All right, you've created your first Claude Code project. Now it's time to put that Claude into action by writing and running your very first code snippet. By the end of this step, you'll have written a simple script using Claude.generate, an actual API call to Claude, and seen its output printed on screen. This is where the magic happens, seeing real Claude responses in your project. 1. Open your project directory. Make sure you're in your project directory where you created the hello_Claude.py file. 2. Edit hello_Claude.py. Open this file with your text editor or IDE. Here's what it'll look like after we make a few changes. Python, import Claude. Client égale Claude.client. Prompt equals, what is the weather like today? Response equals client.generate prompt. Print response. 3. Run your code. Now, let's run this script and see what happens. In your terminal or command prompt, navigate to your hello_Claude directory and type sa python hello_Claude.py. 4. See the magic. You should see Claude's response printed in your console. It might be something like, "Today's weather is sunny with a high of 75 degrees." You just made Claude do some real work for you and saw its output. This is the power of Claude Code, integrating human intelligence into your projects. Now that you've got this down, try changing the prompt to something more complex or interesting. See if Claude can help you generate code snippets or solve coding problems. All right, so by now you've written your first Claude Code script, got it running, and saw some output. It's time to really delve into what that result means and how we can make it even better for our specific use case. First off, let's take a look at the generated text. You should see something like this. Plain text. What is Claude Code? Claude Code is a framework for building applications with Claude, leveraging its natural language processing capabilities to create dynamic and interactive experiences. This output is based on your prompt. What is Claude Code? The model generated a response that aligns well with the definition you provided. But here's the thing. This isn't just a static text generator. It can be fine-tuned for more specific use cases. For example, if you're building a documentation assistant and want the responses to be more technical, you could modify your prompt or input data slightly. 1. Fine-tuning your prompt. You might try, explain Claude Code in 300 words. Or, describe how developers can use Claude Code for interactive documentation. 2. Using more contextual data. If you're working on a medical application, you could provide more specific details like, how does Claude Code help in generating patient reports? By tweaking these inputs, you can get responses that are tailored to your exact needs. So, the takeaway here is that every output from Claude is dynamic and flexible. You have the power to shape its responses by adjusting the prompts or providing additional data. Remember, the key to getting the best results lies in understanding what makes your use case unique and how you can guide the model through your specific requirements. All right, so by now you've just shipped something cool using Claude Code. You've gotten your first result, which is awesome, but you're not done yet. There's so much more to explore. Let's dive into the next steps. 1. Open your project. First, head back to where you ran your initial code. Open the file, main.py again. It should still be open in your text editor or IDE if you've been following along. 2. Modify your prompt. Now it's time to tweak your prompt. Go ahead and change something minor, maybe a new parameter or alter one of the existing ones. For example, if your current prompt is asking for a summary of an article, try changing it to request a different type of summary, or even ask for a related article instead. 3. Rerun your code. Once you've made your changes, save the file and re-execute your script. Use the same command, bash, python main.py. 4. Compare results. Take a look at how the new output differs from what you got before. Notice any subtle or significant differences in the response. This is where Claude's true power begins to shine. It can generate different outputs based on minor prompt changes. 5. Experiment further. Feel free to get creative with your prompts. Try asking for summaries, translations, code snippets, anything really. The more you experiment, the better you'll understand what Claude Code can do and how it responds to various inputs. 6. Keep shipping code. As you keep playing around, you'll become more familiar with Claude's capabilities. Don't be afraid to make mistakes or try out wild ideas. Each attempt is a step towards mastery. By the way, if you found this useful and want to see even more cool stuff, consider subscribing to our channel for regular updates on Claude Code and other developer tips.